was a kid, my favorite movie was a movie with four guys in jumpsuits. And in that movie, I start to love my favorite comedian, Dan Aykroyd. And today we are here to celebrate our passion for Ghostbusters. And I have a very special guest with me, an amazing stop motion artist. And he loves Ghostbusters like me. And this guest is Alex Kropinak. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. That was amazing. Honored. Thank you for having me on the show again.
Thank you so much. I'm a big fan of your work, and especially we become friends after our first show together. And today, for all of you guys that watch right now, is a special Ghostbusters Afterlife conversation. For the first time ever, I do a Ghostbuster episode in my show. And I choose an amazing guest because it is something special with Ghostbusters. We take a closer look at that later. And I want to talk with you. I want to start with you about Ghostbusters Afterlife. So tell me, what is your favorite moment of the new movie, and why is it your favorite moment?
Well, I just watched it recently, maybe whenever it became available digitally here a couple weeks ago. So I wasn't able to see it in the theaters. I was kind of bummed about that. But my favorite moment, I guess we're just going to assume everyone saw it. We'll just spoiler it up. And so in case anyone hasn't seen it, but I recommend you do. My favorite moment was probably the first time Phoebe activated the proton pack, I think, when she was testing it out. That's the first thing that came to my mind thinking back, because it took something that we've seen a million times, like the proton pack, but because it was such a well done practical prop, but you really got to see the inner workings of it, like the cyclotron in the back rotating, and the sound design was great. It just like really stuck in, like made the thing fresh again for me. Seeing these really nice close-ups of every little piece, and the positron thing popping out at the end, and just made it all new again for that one moment. I just have to say that part.
Cool. To me, in general, was a surprise, this movie. As you, I didn't see in theater also because in these days the COVID started to become bigger. So because of that, I prefer waiting. I try to protect myself from many spoilers, because also as a YouTuber of Toy News, I need to do my work for Toy News. I share a Toy News of Egon Spenger ghost figure with Phoebe. Because of that, I also a little bit spoiled myself for that.
Same here.
But I try to save myself, especially for the story. I know that the old Ghostbuster plays their rules. So because of that, I'm very happy, because I watched in 2016 the reboot, and wasn't my Ghostbuster that, especially because in that movie, the original cast did only some cameos without their characters. And the reason why I don't like 2006 is because of that, especially because see the original actor with different character. I think there's no. Yes, the reboot is not a sequel, okay, but I think it should be better, in my opinion, that movie, if follow a little bit more the footsteps of the previous one. So because of that, at the time and before to start watching, I have some concern about what then happened, because maybe fear to be delusional once again, no? But I got some surprise, and maybe my favorite absolutely is I told you before the stream, because Dan Aykroyd is my favorite comedian actor in general. I like many Arnie's movie. I like Bruce Brother. I like the Great Outdoors with John Candy, another one of my favorite comedy movie. I like also John Candy. I like Chevy Chase. I like Bill Murray. I like Rick Moranis. I like this character.
Yeah.
But when I saw the first emotional moment to me, because in the beginning I wondered the guy on the car was Egon, because you can see the face, but I think this is Egon. I think it's Egon, but it was a good opening, no? Because wow, this is Egon. This is the good way to start.
Yeah.
But the first emotional moment was when the little Phoebe needs to do a call, and the officer, the policeman, says, "We are gonna call," and she calls Ray. And when I saw Dan Aykroyd got the phone, wow, this moment was very emotional to me.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say, I love the that he was still having as a cult bookstore that we remember from Ghostbusters 2. That it doesn't completely skip over Ghostbusters 2. There are some things in there that they kept, so that was I appreciated that.
Yes, I think especially this thing is maybe it's the only one related with Ghostbusters 2, because in general the movie is basically related with the first one. So finger crossed to have this guy Vigo. I have also the pictures to everyone. Finger crossed to have Vigo in the next one, because I saw on media, now my little Ghostbuster cannon goes down, but I saw the media that is successful, this Afterlife. So also because I like also, for example, what do you think about the scene after the ending titles with the Sigourney Weaver and Ernie Hudson? What do you think about that?
Seeing Sigourney Weaver was great, and seeing everybody, Annie Potts, and everyone that was brought back, was just so nice. And then in the very end scene with Ernie Hudson going back to the old firehouse, if I had to guess, I'd say that's maybe they're setting up another movie, like with Winston, maybe getting a new crew together. I don't know. That's my guess, but yeah, I guess it didn't get turned into a Starbucks like Ray said it did earlier in the movie, so that's good. And I see you have the firehouse behind you.
Yes, the real firehouse.
Right. When I worked in New York, that's one place I didn't get a chance to visit. If I ever go back, I got to take a picture in front of the firehouse before it gets demolished, if it hasn't been already. But I did go by the New York Public Library with the stone lions in front, very often. So that was cool to see as a Ghostbuster fan when I was in New York. But you never got to see the firehouse for whatever reason.
I think I saw that now. I think they did an interviews, the old cast with Paul Rudd in the firehouse. I saw something like that.
Yeah.
Because now they was restored. I believe is restored the firehouse now, because it's actually is a firehouse, real firehouse with the fire.
Wow.
However, back to the movie. The surprise to me was especially the emotional side of the movie, because it's something new also, because we in the other movie, because yes, maybe the only emotional moments, especially if you're American, is when the Ghostbusters try to take over the plasma on the museum. And didn't work, and they find something to put the people together, and they watch the Statue of Liberty images on the actor one, and that moment was a little more vibrant moment, a little bit, but in general it was a really fun movie, the Ghostbusters in general.
Yes.
And this one looks like a different, especially for the there is a message for one of yours. Yes, Johnny, you're right. Speaking of the new toys.
Right.
Also, because today we have the technology. As I told you, this is my ghost trap. Actually, my brother ghost trap when he was a kid, the Kenner one. If you compare this one with the new proton pack by HasLab, you can see how the technology changed.
A little different.
this stuff. Imagine me and you as a kid able to get this proton pack from Pro, no? Amazing.
Yeah. I one piece of my collection I was really proud of. It was the old Matty Collector Ghost Trap replica that they made in 2006 or something around there, but I don't have it anymore. I had to sell it, unfortunately, but it was great. It had electric lights, it sounds, everything. It was perfect. The HasLab stuff is great. The whole proton pack, I'm glad that got funded. So yeah, there's some good stuff this year coming up, I think, for Ghostbusters. And I don't know what, if Hasbro's planning any more regular figures or not, but it's good stuff.
Yes, there is the Plasma series based on the movie, but a little bit more focus, especially for the new characters. But there is also some figures of the old ones, including Egon Spengler Ghost. Speaking, I won't talk with you with that.
Sure.
Because the surprise is the emotional moments. Because I'm honest with you, when I saw some scene, for example, when the mother of Phoebe, basically the daughter of Egon, the problem relation with her father, basically she didn't know her father, no. And I like this stuff, especially the moment when she goes to the basement and saw many pictures of her when she was a kid. So she understands that Egon loves her, no? And that moment was the first emotional moment.
Yeah.
But the big one was the final scene, absolutely. Because when you see Phoebe, they try to take over, especially when comes the three original Ghostbusters, and start to fight against Ghosts. Wow, emotional moment, big emotional moment. And I honest with you, when I saw Egon that grabs the hands of her granddaughter of Phoebe, I was a little bit in tears, and especially in the last moment when a big hug between the mother and his father. I believe maybe also the reason why, because there is some story about my personal story for that, because Ghostbusters 1 and 2, especially the 2, but in general, was the movie when I was a kid with myself, my brother, and my father. Yeah. And actually, almost 2 years ago, my father passed away, And when I saw the moment that she grabs the ghost of his father, I mashed up of this emotion because it was my movie of my childhood. And because I lost my father, and sometimes you have this dream to hug your father also as a ghost. When I saw that moment, I was in tears. I'm honest with you, real tears. Right. I don't remember the last time that I was in tears like that for a movie. It was because many stuff, because these guys, these are my heroes when I was a kid. This movie was the movie my brother, my family, and my father, this scene with the fathers. So very, very good with this movie because of that. That was a big surprise to me. Tell me something about this emotional side of the movie for you.
Yeah, I really wish that I didn't get that spoiled for me, that Egon was coming back in a kind of ghost form through that toy. I should have stayed off social media, but not seeing in the theaters, and they didn't release it, digitally around the same time. It was hard to stay off for that long, but I can, even knowing that, still seeing that scene was very emotional. It was like, and like you said, seeing the other three Ghostbusters just in their suits again, because it's this thing that, we came out, when we were both young. It was like such a big part of our childhood. We have all this, it's all that going on, but then it's also, you love the actors and the actresses and the people, like, as you said, Dan Aykroyd's your favorite comedian, and seeing Bill Murray. And, I was, very, I think we were all upset when Harold Ramis passed away, all those years ago. And then, so when it was, the most emotional part for me was seeing Ernie Hudson and Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd talk to Egon's character. But I kind of felt like there was the actors saying like something to Harold Ramis. I feel like, we should have called you, or, who knows what they were thinking. I could tell, they had tears in their eyes. They're acting, maybe they're not. But I could feel that, this whole movie was like, a big love letter to everything. It even said for Harold at the end. But just very clear love letter to the whole Ghostbuster story and movies. So yeah, it just comes through.
Yes, absolutely. Also because finally we got a sequel. And this is, I think, is the regret. I think is because we remember after Ghostbusters 2 for many years, Dan and Harold tried to do a new movie that actually became the video game, but
Right.
they tried to put Bill Murray. But at the time, Bill Murray was the moment of Lost in Translation. That yes, he changed a little bit his way. He tried to stay away for his old works, I believe. If to me, it was a big mistake because at that time, in the beginning of 2000, on the late 90s, they were good young to do another action movie, because obviously now they are Danny 67, Ernie Hudson is 75, looks 55, but he's 75. Ernie Hudson and Bill Murray is 71, so they are not fresh, obviously, but they have a big charisma.
Oh,
And because of that, they works very well in the movie because of their charisma. So
exactly, yeah.
I like that. Is that the charisma is something that give you. I know also that especially Dan Aykroyd was close with Harold because they are co-writing the story. They working together in the beginning of their career. So I saw, especially because I saw some interview with the three original Ghostbusters in some show on YouTube. You can see some interview of them that talks about the movie. And Bill Murray said to do some jokes on Dan Aykroyd, and Dan Aykroyd singing something. Because Dan Aykroyd is, I think, still inside of him two movie and two character: Elwood Blues of Blues Brother and Ray Stantz of Ghostbusters. Because he stay in this stuff. And every time you see Dan with the sunglasses, like
Right.
Elwood, also in interviews. So he still love his old work. I feel that during the interviews. Bill Murray is a genius, absolutely, but maybe is a guy that don't care like the others, in my opinion, for Ghostbusters. Also
Yeah,
because he do
and
jokes every time.
yeah, there was quotes from him back when Ghostbusters 2 was still being in pre-production, and we're going to call it the final chapter of the Ghostbusters, or like the last Ghostbusters or something, because I am not making Ghostbusters 3. And that was back in 88 or whatever. So it makes sense. I appreciate that he was in it for this one, and but I'm glad you brought up the Ghostbusters video game that was a couple years before. What was that, 2007 or something? It was a while ago, but that is so well done. I consider it like Ghostbusters 3 almost. It had everyone, Dan and Harold wrote it. Everyone was back for voices. Even I think William Atherton, they got him to voice Walter Peck, the EPA guy, again. And great story. I play through that game every once in a while. Still, it's great.
Yes, was something to Ghostbusters in some way because of Bill Murray, it didn't happen the actual movie that became the video games. But still, I think yes, this new one. The only things that is a little bit sad that Rick Moranis refused, because Rick Moranis, I know that he refused to be in the reboot. But I don't. Without Rick Moranis, could be another guys, that could be would see again with his character, because
Right.
Louis Stanley, played by Rick Moranis, was very good. A little bit Woody Allen style, but it was very cool.
Yeah, I guess. Rick Moranis is very retired. I guess. It would have been great, but hey, he did did more than enough amazing work to last him. So I'm sure he's just enjoying it. Maybe taking some time off to do whatever
yes, I
he
think
really wants
because I read something on the web that he lost his wife in 1991, and he decided to retire a little bit to take care of his kids, and then this retirement become growing up. Maybe he's not a guy that give more important at the show business stuff. It's okay that one, but maybe see also him in Ghostbusters. finger crossed to see maybe in the possible sequel if it will be also Vigo the Carpassian, see also Peter
Yeah, right.
McNichol.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So
yeah, it'd be great to see, some other characters back. And speaking of, I think, the other, not the, main guys, but Gozer and the Terror Dogs, they looked amazing. I really love the practical effects and the Terror Dogs, and then Gozer, especially like the suit with the kind of orange energy, like kind of pulsing through it, looked amazing. So I appreciate the practical stuff that they did. And uh, what do you think of Muncher? Could we talk about Muncher for a moment?
yes, yes, absolutely. I
uh,
think is obviously if you watch Muncher, you remember Slimer because
right.
obviously they put this the new this new Slimer.
Mhm.
I think is fun. And I think obviously Slime is my green ghost, but I like also that they try to do something new
Yeah,
inside a plot scripted before. I like it. It's not bad to me, Muncher. I think it's fun because it was goofy, a little
right,
bit bigger than Slimer with four. It's just a blue Slimer with four legs, a little bit. But I
right.
like it. It was fun, especially when he goes outside and grabs the stuff that put out the water. I don't know the name in English for that, but was
Right.
fun. What do you think about Muncher?
I thought his design was great. It looked like it fit in with the other creatures that have been already designed and established in the classic like Ghostbuster movies. I would have preferred him be like a practical puppet like Slimer was in the original movie. But they did what they had to do. But I appreciate him just because he had a point in the movie. Like he served a purpose in some way by allowing the kids to get all the equipment out of the jail cell and the equipment room. But like more so than the Stay Puffed
The little
little
step up.
Marshmallow ones. I honestly could have done without the Stay Puffed little guys. Like they're cute, but I think they were just there for no other reason. Like say, hey, Stay Puffed. Like why were they there?
I think especially to selling something the merchandise because now you can see little step up. I don't know for that because when I saw the trailer on YouTube of Little Stay Puft, I laugh at
Yeah,
the time. But then when you discover that there was a little bit the rules of them was a little bit pointless to me. Obviously, Mancher was better. In general, I like the visual effects; are very cool. Also, when Gozer cut Ivor Shandor into parts, the moment was cool. Also,
yeah, right.
realistic.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons as Ivor Shandor. That was great. And that character is not the first time we're seeing him in films, but he's been in the comic books, and I think he was a major character in the video game behind the scenes. So that must be something that Dan Aykroyd really wants to revisit over and over again. It's a cool character, like a human that just I would like to know more of his back. Like, how did he hear about this Sumerian god Gozer and all? What compelled him to do all this stuff and get the mine all this stuff, build the Empire State Building, or not the Empire, the hotel room. But the other characters, I don't think we talked about too much. But yeah, Phoebe, I felt I really felt connected to all the new characters, like the Phoebe and podcast. I love podcast, and the mom and all the new characters. And then I felt like we should have wrapped up a little bit with them at the end of the movie. It kind of like once the original Ghostbusters showed up, it was kind of like they just took all the spotlight and like it just ended, and then we see the Ecto One back driving back into New York. It's like, are they still in Oklahoma? Or did they I don't know. It just might have been nice to wrap up their story and see what they're up to next. They're spending so much time getting invested in them, but hey.
Yes, I think that it was a nice idea, especially in the end of because of New York. It's not just a typical teaser of a possible sequel, but also they give you
Mhm.
some possible way to have the new movie with more of the old ones, maybe along with the new one. Another stuff that I feel is also because of the new characters, Phoebe, her brother especially. I feel something that remember me as another artist that I like so much, Stephen King. I feel many Stephen King vibes.
Mm.
It, Stand By Me, speaking of the movie, but also of the book, I
Mhm.
feel that a little bit. Desperation, the movie Desperation of
Mhm.
Stephen King, because also there, in the Desperation, we have a mine with some ghost inside and the desperation story.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Yeah, Desperation is a movie you can I think you can find on streaming that is also in DVD.
Mhm.
I have two copies, by the way, by in Italian. Desperation is I read before the book, and then I watch the movie. And that movie there is some ghost inside a mine, like in a mining
Oh, okay.
corp. In a mining corp. In my, it looks in the mountain like the afterlife. So I
Okay.
feel some Stephen King vibes for the youngster that try to take over a ghost or paranormal activity, like it, for example, or especially it, but also in Desperation, there's no kids, but there is this idea of a mine inside a mountain and stuff. And
Okay.
also, I feel the vibes of Stephen King about a group of youngster that try to take over something bigger than them, like it, no, for example.
Right. Right.
I like also this side because it's to me, yes, maybe because of this, because one of the Finn Forward, I believe the name,
Mhm. Right. Yeah,
the
he was in
actor,
the
he was in the Stranger
it.
Things, and so
Right.
in this other series, there are many Stephen King vibes.
Mhm.
So maybe because of that. But however, I like these Stephen King vibes inside Ghostbusters. I like this situation. What do you think about that? And you feel that?
I I mean, now that you mentioned it, yeah, I definitely. But watching it, I don't know if I felt any kind of influence other than like just the original Ghostbusters movies, and taking that and um, portraying it in a more serious way. Like the first like 45 minutes of this movie, like super serious, which is the big difference between the Ghostbusters, the classic Ghostbusters, which is you know because of the people involved, comedy first and foremost. So it was nice to see that kind of. I want to say like, it feels like a Hollywood big budget like fan film, if you agree with that, because it feels like you mentioned the 2016 kind of reboot Ghostbusters movie, which I'm glad you did. I saw that like opening day. I was very excited for that, and that was more comedy than anything Ghostbusters. Like I think I enjoyed it. I thought it was well made, and it's also accessible. That one, I think, even if you knew nothing about Ghostbusters, you could watch that and you wouldn't be lost. I feel like this movie was made like for us, for like specifically for Ghostbusters fans and no one else. It'd be
Exactly.
you lose. I mean, that's fine. I'm glad it was made. But yeah, it's a love letter to everything, and
Yes.
it
Yes.
was enjoyable and fun to watch, and
Yes, I love letter also to I like also this in the same time I love letter to us as a fans, but
Mhm.
also I love letter to Harold Ramis basically because it's a big tribute to Harold in the beginning because he had a good idea to put the reality of his death also in the inside the movie,
Mhm.
and so to give you different type of emotional stuff because obviously for us the when Harold passed away was a loss to us because we lost one of our heroes. No, it was very sad that day. I remember it was 2014 when I told that announced that to my brother and my father. They were sad for Harold Ramis.
Right.
Also because we watch other stuff, National Lampoon Vacation, Animal House. So other stuff with other actors that I love
Yeah.
because I
Groundhog
like.
Day directed, yeah. Stripes.
Exactly. Also, the Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, another
Right.
amazing comedy movie that and he appears also in that one because he was a doctor.
Yeah,
If
right.
you remember the scene when Bill Murray goes to a doctor, and
Yep, yep.
yes, a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
and yeah, it's such a great mix of like SNL and SCTV talent in that first movie. Did a little bit of trivia? Did you know that John Candy was originally going to play the character of Louis Tully before Rick Moranis took over? He's he John Candy had a completely different take for that character. He wanted to do all kinds of crazy like accents and like he was just try to make him into a really wild character. And they, you got to tone it down. But they gave it to Rick Moranis, but I just thought that was very interesting. It would be very different.
Yes, and I think with John Candy, the movie can change a lot also because John Candy is was a big personality.
Right.
Another sad day to me, I was so young at that time in 1994 when John Candy passed away on only 44. It
Yeah.
was so sad also the time because John Candy was another of my favorite comedian. Uncle
Sure.
Buck. I saw many. Who is Eric Crumb? The
Yeah.
also another one that I remember of John Candy when he was a writer of a series. I don't
Yeah.
remember the title, especially because the title in Italian, and sometimes I don't know what is
Was
the
that when he was
actual.
a soap opera writer?
Exactly
Yeah,
that
I
one.
don't remember the name of that either. But we
What
just
was
watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles around Thanksgiving time. He's another emotional one. John Candy is that kind of actor that can be very human and but also very funny too. Like, it could be, his character in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles one day, and then Barf from Spaceballs another. It's just, very
Yes.
talented.
And by the way, Spaceball, another great appearance by Rick Moranis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as a kid, you notice the big, the Bill Murray in Ghostbusters. He's the funny guy. I like this guy a lot. And then you get older and like, wow, like Rick Moranis is so good at this too. Like it's like subtle, but he cracks me up watching it now. All the minor characters in Ghostbusters too. Also like just so good.
But now, speaking of to show me some of your collection, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I wanted to show. Yeah, I don't have anything too crazy, too rare or anything, but I just picked out a few things that either meant something to me or I thought were kind of interesting, maybe not as well known. First thing was this like thing I had as a kid. It was part of a set. These plaster molds. So this is a mold of Slimer. You can like these two halves of these plastic things. You stick them together and pour this plaster solution into them. And this is the only one I have left. There was also Peter and Egon and Stay Puft. You could also make molds of, but I've never seen anyone talk about these or have they. I don't know if they were like, not out for a long time, but I remember using these all the time. Thought that was cool.
Cool. I never had this one.
Have you never heard of it? Yeah, it was like, I mean, there was so much, merchandise and just like stuff that I had and I totally forgot about it until it was on one of those retro sites. Like, hey, remember Slimer toothpaste? It's like, yeah, actually I do. I ate it like it was candy. Now that I think of it, like all this weird stuff. Another thing I had as a kid. This is probably my favorite piece of Ghostbusters art, like my all-time favorite thing. This painting stylized to the real Ghostbusters characters. This is like an old TV tray, like when you're a kid.
Cool. It looks like this artwork. Remember me the artwork on the Kenner Act One box a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
Was it on
actually, sorry.
Was
actually,
it
I think it better start you because no, if we talk at the same time.
Oh, sorry. I was just, were you saying that this was the art on the Ecto 1 box? I don't remember.
Yes, yeah, I believe, I'm not sure, but almost sure. Because, and by the way, guys, on this channel, if you go in the Ghostbuster Toys playlist, you can find my review for each figure that I have, an original Kenner one. I believe this one could be the Kenner one box artwork for the Ecto one. I believe. I'm not sure because I haven't yet the box. I have only the vehicles. I have the vehicles, the Ecto one.
Mhm.
But it's in the other room. Right here, I have a duplicate because I have two pair of these figures of original Egon, Ken, Real Ghostbusters. I have Peter Venkman, Ray, and Winston, the original Ghostbusters, based on the cartoon. And I want to tell a story to you and to everyone. How start my love story with Ghostbusters. Because actually in Italy, when I was a kid, so was a very young, I was a little kids. I discovered Ghostbusters not with the movie, not with the real Ghostbusters, but with the filmation Ghostbusters. So in the beginning, I discovered this name Ghostbuster with this cartoon, the filmation Ghostbuster. And for a while, on TV, they share only that on TV. The real Ghostbusters, the filmation Ghostbusters. I became a big fan of this, of the Gorilla Tracy. I was a big fan of Primeval, the bad guys, and also actually I love the filmation cartoon, like also Brave Star, because Master of the Universe, Shira. I like this style. Speaking of cartoon. But after a while, this network stopped Filmation Ghostbuster, and instead of Filmation Ghostbuster, put on the screen on TV the real Ghostbuster, the cartoon with this figure are based. And because of that, in the beginning, I was surprised. What is this real Ghostbuster? They aren't my Ghostbusters. But after a few weeks, I became very fan of this new Ghostbusters. To me, new, the real Ghostbusters. And actually, Danny Croy and the other guys paid the rights to the original because the Ghostbuster name was a name of an old series in '75, I believe. Was a TV show. It was a TV show like a sitcom with a gorilla, with a man inside a puppet gorilla. And the Filmation Ghostbuster cartoon is based on that series. And so, to do the movie Ghostbusters with the name Ghostbusters, Dan Aykroyd and Ramis Rayton paid the old series of the '70s to get the right to name Ghostbusters. And you can see also on YouTube some promo when they say we are Ghostbuster, other name, because at that time they haven't the license to do this original, the Ghostbusters name. However, when I start to love real Ghostbuster, I watched for the first time in TV the premiere in TV of Ghostbuster 1, the first one. And that blew my mind. Oh, wow. Because I discovered that Ghostbusters are not just a cartoon, but real human being. And this was a magic moment in my childhood. And then a few months later, I watched it, and this was my favorite movie. I know every line of the show, the movie, Ghostbusters 2. I remember I go to the theater with my father, my mother, and my brother, and we watched two times the movie Ghostbusters 2. I like the idea of Vigo. I like so maybe because of that, because it's the Ghostbuster that I saw in theater. Maybe because I like the idea of Vigo. I like that they go a little bit more inside of the character, because we know, I don't know if you know that, but Ghostbuster the first, 1984, was shooting very fast because they have a deadline, and they work so fast to finish the movie. In the first one. In the second one, they take more time to do everything, and you feel that. You feel that. Yes, you feel the genius in the first one. Absolutely. Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, three genius together, and together they become better than alone. So, because of that, it's a genius movie. Because when something is genial, you find that also in a movie with some error stuff because they are on a rush during the movie. But the second one became my Ghostbusters, and then I fall in love. I watched many, many, many times this movie. So tell me, what is your favorite Ghostbuster movie?
I have to say I love Ghostbusters too. I like it. I can watch it just as much as the first one. I have to say the first one's my all time. It's not just my favorite Ghostbusters movie. It's my favorite, like, all time favorite movie. Uh, so I'd have to say the first one. But thinking back, actually, you bring up a good point. Like, how did we all, like, what was the entry point to be Ghostbusters fandom? And I honestly don't remember. I feel like I've always liked Ghostbusters from birth, basically. I don't remember. I do remember points. Like, I remember my first Ghostbuster figure when I was 4 years old. It was a Peter, one of the screaming ones. He bend his arm, his eyes bug out, and
Okay, yes, I have it, this one because this one was released before.
mm,
That one was later because because I have some of that figure, also the monster. You push that, the eyes comes
yeah,
out, the open the mouth. I have
I
the
love those.
Frankenstein character because they after did the real Ghostbuster by Kenner. By the way, was an awesome line in my opinion. Speaking of toy line,
Yeah,
sorry.
the monsters they did were so great. The features and I have a few, like, this is one of my favorite ones. The ghost that pops up into another ghost,
I
and
have this one. I have
fill
this.
them with water and they squirt out of their eyes. It's just great for a kid. And the toilet, fearsome flush.
Cool. This one I have. I remember so well because it was. Do you
It's like,
have the? I have also the purple bug eye. Do you have the guy with the big eye?
oh, this guy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know if you
Yeah.
remember in the Ghostbuster Afterlife, in
Mhm.
some points in the show, comes out a ghost so close with bug eye.
Yeah, it had to be inspired by that toy. Yeah, for sure. I noticed that immediately. Yeah, that was great. I wish there were more. We saw him and the the zombie miner in the diner. That great to see. I would have liked to see some more ghosts. It wasn't wasn't very ghost heavy, but in the Afterlife movie. But it was cool to see those ones. Um, yeah, I was a huge fan of Real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. That's probably what made me, as a young kid, like, fall in love with Ghostbusters, like, more than anything else. The original movie came out a year before I was born, so it was a while before I saw that. I don't even remember, when I first saw the live action movie. I do remember Ghostbusters 2 coming out. I may have seen that in the theaters. I don't recall. I'll have to ask my parents about that. But that was when I was also like 4 or 5 years old. And I was, that was huge. It was that, and Batman came out the same year,
Yes,
1989.
Batman,
So it
the
was a
first
good
one.
year.
Yeah. Yes, good year. Also, Batman was the Tim Burton Batman, very good movie, I
Hmm.
think. But now I think it's time to show something that you did for Ghostbusters
Oh,
because you did an amazing stop motion.
thanks.
So I want to show to everyone this amazing work that you did with Ghostbuster for Diamond Select. So there we go. I try to find the play. Beautiful. Amazing.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, that was a real bucket list kind of project. I can't thank Zacho enough for signing me on for that one. Several years ago, whenever that was. But yeah, to be able to recreate that scene with the toys and especially animating the terror dogs just was so cool. I was thankful to have my brother-in-law Matt take us through the music too and set the scene for that whole thing, and animating Gozer doing the flips and the electricity and doing the proton pack energy. It was just like, wow, so fun. And
But do you have some pieces of that scene or the diorama?
oh yeah, well, the rooftop diorama is way over there. It's got a bunch of horror toys on it right now. I have the hook, and I mean Diamond Select really did a great job with their whole Ghostbusters line. I did like it might I don't know if you can see them on my shelf up there, but there's the real Ghostbusters figures that they did. The four guys there and Slimer. Those are like probably top 10 all-time favorite figures just in themselves. But the hook and ladder firehouse diorama also that came with the later waves, just very well done. I still have everything from that. Yeah, they're just all scattered around.
Awesome, very cool. Tell me some behind the scene to do this stop motion because it looks like so realistic, so close with the real scene. What is the
Yeah, thanks. So I have it somewhere. I should have prepared it, but that came in several stages. So I started with looking at the original scene, obviously, and picking out which parts that I could adapt to animation. So I had a kind of animatic, but it was built up of the original scenes from the movie. So I stretched that out a few, shortened a few just to fit the music that Matt made. And then I got the full rooftop diorama, which is great. And I had to shoot a little bit of on green screen to have the kind of, dark sky background on there. So originally it was shot with everything green behind it, and I added in the visual effect of the kind of portal, the purple portal doors and everything. So a lot of it was shot on green screen, especially Gozer's jump. That was all with armatures and wires and, with the camera, and then to paint all that out. So you just see eventually her against the sky. And then used After Effects with a little lightning and, smoke visual effects laid out on there just to, punch everything up a little bit more visually. A lot of different layers of stuff. But the Ghostbusters themselves, I remember it being a little difficult to have them walk up the stairs. So I had a lot of armatures and rigging there to have them walk. So it's a little, I might have want to spend, if I had to revisit that, I'd spend a little bit more time on some things, polish it up a little bit more. The facial expressions, a little bit different story. So I do that a lot with my animation. I shoot everything with the practical toys, and then trying to do a little frame by frame Photoshop manipulation of the character's eyes, eyebrows, mouth, just to give it a little bit more stuff, which I am pretty proud of. I think that just adds a little bit more connection to the figures than just having them as they are in the animation,
Cool. So to do the facial expression, what is the secret to do this?
So I shoot in 24 frames per second. So there's 24 different photographs for each second of finished animation. So for each of those frames, there's a photograph with a file name that is in my files. It's like number 380, whatever. And so the way I do it, I don't know if it's just the way I've always done it, and it's my own process. There's probably a better way, but I just write them out. This file's named this, and I'll scrub through my editing. I use Adobe Premiere to edit everything before it goes into Adobe After Effects for all the visual effects later on. So the initial edit, I'll look back and I just have a timeline of thousands of photographs, which make up each of the scenes, and I'll go back. Okay, this scene I want Ray to have his eyes up, and he'll say no. So okay, at this point he's going to start his expression. So okay, what file name is that? It's 200. Okay, 200. Start to raise the eyebrows. I'll draw very rough eyes, and I have my own shorthand. It probably looks like just craziness if anyone else would look at what the notes I have. Like I have a shorthand for like what mouth movement to do, the start and the end of an eyebrow raise or something like that. With something like the terror dogs, I didn't do any kind of facial expression with the terror dogs. I mean, they looked great as they were. But for a non-human character, I'll do something like I'll have like the nostrils flare, or if it's like a character with like sharp teeth or something like that, I'll have to do a little bit more work, stuff like that. So yeah, it's very time consuming. Kind of, that's the I'll have like some Mystery Science Theater in the background or something while I do that part. It's just very time consuming and arduous, but I think it pays off in the end.
How much time did you spend to do this stop motion with Ghostbusters?
The specific one, it's hard to say. I remember like where I am. I moved around a lot for the past like 10 years. So it's like I remember where I was when I made these. That was when I was 100% full-time or freelance, full-time freelancer. So I was probably working on that plus several other projects at the time. And like I remember the apartment I was in when I was making it, but I don't remember like the time is iffy for like in my memory. But it was I got the music from Matt, and that was the starting point. And then the figures, just testing them out, seeing how they move, their articulation, what I'm going to have to do to put the shots together. I did do a pretty cool practical camera move in the very beginning, that we see the rooftop shot and it moves in. So that was easy to do because the characters weren't moving. I was just moving the physical camera towards it. So it had a nice like 3D effect. And then so that was probably the most time-consuming part of it, other than the facial expression movement, and then visual effects at the end. Just a little bit, maybe 20% of the total production time is spent on visual effects at the end, color correction, that kind of stuff.
Cool, very cool. And I have a question because I'm curious, because I saw that is very beautiful. And now you know that I do some stop motion. Obviously, not great like yours, because
thank you.
Because you're a master of stop motion, in my opinion.
I enjoy your stuff very well, very much.
Thank you so much. This mean a lot to me, because I consider you a master. I mean, just a guy that try to create something, but because now you do some series on this channel. And because of this, my little work, I understand how much work there is behind some masterpiece like this one for Ghostbusters, for example. Mm-hmm. But it's also your recent work with Mesco. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
But if you can pick a scene of Ghostbusters Afterlife to do in stop motion, which scene do you pick?
You know what? It would be when Gozer first comes out and meets J.K. Simmons as Evo Shandor and just rips him in half. That was very unexpected and kind of funny to me, seeing that. And that would be very cool to animate someone, a toy getting ripped in half, and to animate Gozer again, which was a lot of fun. I didn't get a good look at Hasbro's new Gozer figure, but they did. I think it was based on the design of the 1984 look of Gozer, because the character look did get updated a little bit. Like I noticed the shoulder pads were like spikier, like a little different in Afterlife. So it would be cool if they made a figure that was more like the updated version.
I think they did, because now they start just before the movie comes out. I remember, because I cover toy news for every franchise on this channel, a big effort for the channel. Yeah. because so I know everything, including the stuff that they don't collect. I know everything because of this. But I remember for the Afterlife they did this plasma series, and basically they have the four the youngster, the new young Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
and also the old ones.
Mhm.
I don't think that there is also a 3-pack with Phoebe and the Ghost of Egon that they released that immediately after the premiere of the movie on the theater.
Mhm.
But I think there's not yet. I believe maybe I saw some Terror Dog
Mm.
based on the movie, but I don't know. I don't remember
Mhm.
honestly if they did also a new version of Ghost. I don't think.
Yeah,
But I
and
think more will comes out now because now the movie becomes really popular,
mhm.
successful. Because it looks like that before the movie comes out, we know that it was delayed because of COVID, etc.
Right.
Looks like that the Hasbro was a little bit afraid to put many stuff of Ghostbuster
Yeah, it could be.
because in the other franchise they put almost weekly, but
Mhm.
every month new stuff for Marvel Legends, for Power Rangers, Star Wars, J. Joe. But the only brand that were very few things only for Ghostbusters. Maybe because they waiting the reaction from the movie.
Right.
Because the movie got a good successful reaction, but in the other possible landscape, maybe they are a little bit afraid because you never know what happened until the movie comes out. No,
True. Yeah. Yeah. That could be. I mean, they're doing some cool stuff with the HasLabs, like you mentioned before. But yeah, I guess they're the only one that has the Ghostbusters license. I don't know if that
yes, I
is the
believe for
case, but
ASLab is the first one. The Proton Pack is the first ASLab for Ghostbusters.
yeah, and it looks great. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, very beautiful because looks like real.
Mhm.
Again, imagine if that when we were a kids at the
Oh
time,
yeah.
a pack like
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah. I had a cardboard box put over my backpack when I was a kid. That was my proton pack.
I remember the Proton Pack because along with this track, Ghost Track, they did also a toy Proton Pack. I
Mhm.
remember that. I never had this one, and by again, this one is from my brother because I know my brother. If my brother maybe casual watch this show,
Mhm.
maybe then he say, Why you have my Ghost Trap?"
Another pack. Yeah. Right.
But because I did a review for this one also, and in the guys, remember if you watch my playlist Ghostbuster toys, you can find my reviews for each original Ghostbusters and real Ghostbuster Kenner toys that I have, including the Firehouse and actually the Firehouse of Kenner. I got this one a few years ago. It was a gift by my girlfriend for my Christmas, so I believe in 2018,
Nice.
maybe. So, or yes, 2018, I believe. Because when I start to review my old toys, I decide, wow, I need something I never had before. The Firehouse playset from Kenner, based on the cartoon because it's not the. I try to move the right way. It's not this one. Is the cartoon version of Real Ghostbusters.
Right, right. Yeah, I didn't have that as a kid either. I bought that myself, secondhand. Also, probably a couple of years ago. But yeah, like half the toys I had as a kid are just got played with and well loved to the point of destruction. So I don't have them anymore. And other stuff, things I would have liked, I just bought later as an adult.
Yes, me too. Me too. We are on the same page. We did the
Right.
same things for example, especially for the Hasbro wrestling figure. Oh, I create also custom figure for that one to have
Oh,
some
did you?
character. Yes, I designed that, and my friends sculpt for me that. So many characters that I have in my Hasbro style figure for wrestling are custom, like King Kong
Oh,
Bundy,
cool.
Bijon Stud, and many others. But we are close to the end, so it's time for the final consideration, my friend.
Oh,
And
I forgot. I wanted to show one more thing on my collection. This is an actual cell from the cartoon.
cool.
I got with a painted background from the actual. I don't know what episode it's from. I'm going to find that out one day, but it's probably the coolest thing that I have.
I remember when. What is your reaction? You saw before the movie 1984
Mhm.
or the real Ghostbuster cartoon?
What did I see first? Did you ask?
Yes.
Probably the cartoon. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, for example, my reaction also me too. I watched before first the cartoon, and I remember the first time that I saw the movie on TV because they did the premiere on TV of the movie the 1984.
Mhm.
Few weeks before that, the Ghostbuster 2 comes out on the theater, maybe to promote that a little bit also.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit shocked about the hair color because to me Egon was blonde,
Mhm.
was the color where the color of the cartoon. So in the beginning was surprised because why Egon is brown and black hair, dark hair,
Right.
why? And also Ray is a basically this is the real Ghostbuster version
Mhm.
is orange hair, no? It was
Right.
different, or red hair, if you want to call that. It was different. So why is different? Why they haven't? Because I tried to also later to compare the jumpsuit. Anything, if you compare the color, the jumpsuit, the first one is this one, the Ghostbusters 1984.
Mhm. Mhm.
And the second one maybe is I believe a little bit more close to Egon
Mhm.
because you in the second one
Dark
you
gray.
can they use also a gray suit in some scene in the jewelry scene where they have the top a Santa hat. You
Mhm.
remember that scene?
Yeah. Yeah.
They have not this color of the jumpsuit, but basically something like this one, a gray
Right.
version.
Right. Yeah. I felt the same way when I was a kid too. I'm like Egon doesn't have blonde hair. Like he doesn't have red glasses. I was very like, you know, picky about that. But like, learning more about animation now, I'm like, oh, of course they had to make them look different so that you could tell them apart. Like the same reason they made the Ninja Turtles have different color, masks, even though they were all red in the original comic, is like kids need to tell them apart. Like it made sense, But as a kid, you're like, no, it has to be this way.
Exactly. So thank you so much to enjoy the show.
Thank
But
you.
now I go to the piano to the end of the show, my friend.
Thank you.
And if you want to come back in the future to talk to us about your work, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'd
Because
love to. Always. I really appreciate you having me on. I'm honored. Thank you.
thanks for watching, my friends. And don't forget on this channel, you can find a playlist called Ghostbusters Toys and many videos about Ghostbusters Afterlife. So enjoy, like, and subscribe. And don't forget the more is coming. And my friends, remember, next week on Saturday 29, at 4 p.m. Pacific, so 7 p.m. Eastern, Brian Flynn on Super 7 will return to me for the fifth time to a new interview. So thank you, Alex, to join the show. And maybe it's always beautiful share with a friend the same passion like tonight. I think
Yeah, this
it's
was great.
beautiful vibes.
This is great.
So thank you so much. And thank you to all of you guys. Bye bye. Goodbye, my friends.